So I'm doing a little goofing off with the Coopster today, and you can see I've got all kinds of contraptions going on here. This thing was in bad shape. If you remember, I mentioned that it'd been carried and pushed around in two parts for quite a while, and there was really no trusting the width that the base was set at, and the top for that matter. So I reached out to my brethren on the old interwebs, put a post on the Ham and a post on Ford Barn, and I asked them for a couple of references, and had a fella came through. He was working on a sport coupe himself, Bob, and he took the time to get the information to me. I told him what I needed was side to side, basically to this point right here, this outside point, and I also wanted to get side to side from the high point of this bead. And I thought, hey, while I'm at it, let me pull a measurement from side to side down low here, right where it transitions to the wheel well. If I had sub rails, that would do that for me, but I don't have sub rails, and I'm not planning on putting sub rails back in. I'm going to channel it, so I'm going to be basically building my floor system, which this is a remaining part of this old one. So I got those measurements and started squaring things up. I went ahead and I got it lined up from the bottom. You can see through all this crap. There we go, right there. I've got a piece of 1/2 inch square tubular on the bottom, and I went ahead and welded it on the back side of this, we'll just call it a B pillar, and that's where I really want my supports to be, on that back side, because I've got a fair amount of work that's going to be happening on the front side of this B pillar and my door and whatnot. I don't want these in my way, so. But I had to do a temporary to the temporary. This one right here, this top one, I had to tack it in place right now. Now I can remove my pusher. This is just a piece of tubular that I had laying around the shop, and it happened to have a flange welded on it. So I went ahead and clamped it to the substructure of my frame table, and I tacked a piece of channel on it. And then I had this laying around the shop too. You see that black piece of tubular there? That's a piece of office furniture, like you would hang the partitions from, with the portable walls and whatnot you find in offices. And I had one of those laying around I picked up somewhere. The neat thing about them, they've got this, they've got a big leveling screw, bolt, something or other, with a pad on the end of it. And I was able to recycle that into being the device that pushed my body in alignment. This body right here, on this side particularly, when they went and did the repair up here, I don't know what they did up here, but when they did this line of the car, it bowed inside. It just cupped right inside, and it was way out. In fact, I'll tell you how far out it was. When I started, let me see, there you go. When I started, there was no thread showing. And right now, I've taken it out. Almost 2 inches. This door was 2 inches out from where it was supposed to be. And I knew it was going to take a fair amount of force to push this panel out and to hold it out. So that's why I set up that pushing post basically. And then I also knew that I needed to hold where it was good. And right here, as it comes around the bend right here, it was good here. It was in its proper shape, I believe. And where things went south was right here. You can see this crack. Sorry for the fuzziness. I don't know why my phone is. So right there it went bad. So I went ahead and braced it off here with a piece of heavy tubular, and I welded a piece of angle, if you can see down there. You can see I've got it clamped to my table. So that was my holding station during the operation, and it did real good. So it allowed me to put all the force onto this and push this out. So what I can do now, I can take all this stuff down and get it out of my way, and then I'm going to weld one of these on the back side of that B-pillar like I do for the lower one, and then I'll remove this one right here. I don't need that one anymore. And I'll somewhat have this back end. It may not be 100%, but it's a lot closer than I started from. It, you know, maybe it'll be at 85 or 90 as far as where it needs to be. And of course, then I got to fit up my doors. And when I do, the doors were going to tell me some things as well. But I just couldn't keep on going without trying to get this car a little bit lined up. So let me see. Yeah, that's about it. I'll probably go ahead and do a diagonal in here. But first things first, I need to go ahead and get a top one welded on the back side. So let me get it. So I've got my wheel well brace in. I ended up having to push out those wheel wells about an inch to get it where it needed to be. I think that should end up being a good thing, because you know this panel was just kind of floating in and out, and now it's where it's supposed to be, and the car is 100% more stable than it originally was. I'm still going to end up, you know, during the working on the body, I'm still going to end up, you know, cutting this apart and re-welding it, and I might have to put in a patch here. I've got a lot of extra metal right here. It definitely going to have to be shrunk. It might be easier just to cut this out and start over with a couple of welds that go all the way down. I had to approximate the corner here. You see I'm missing so much material. I took this piece of aluminum and I clamped it up into position and got it sitting on the bottom, and then I just pulled the tape from the inside to inside while this was held into position, and that's how I got my standoff adjusted. And I welded one side and then got myself over to the other side and basically pushed it open, and then welded the other side. I stayed pretty much away from that area so I can keep that in place while I weld in the panels, hopefully. If not, I might have to reset the bar. But yeah, I'm super happy that I got this done. And for good measure, I wanted to kind of check and see where I was. I made a template with the door, the outside of the door, and then I just took that template and slipped it into one of my doors, you know, to see how it looked, and you can see there I got a pretty good margin, so it's nothing egregious, you know. It looks like it's going to work for me. I might have to tweak here and there, I mean, while I'm fitting the doors, but that's okay. Made a template off of both sides. Everything was correct. And then, you know, measure twice, cut once. Another thing I did to make sure that I had both of these panels have got somewhat of the tilt out, and I picked a point on this edge. I've got an edge on the other side too. I picked a point and I put my angle gauge on this side, and then I marked it, you know, with this orange indicator as far as where it fell at. And then I went over on the other side. I readjusted that point to the reciprocal of that same angle, and was able to check my doors and ensure that they indeed were both at the same angle. They're both at the same angle. So that was another cross check that I did. But yeah, super stoked. I think now I'm going to roll on over to maybe trying to replicate this tulip panel before I end up cutting it out. I'm going to leave it in for right now so I can use it as a reference. Before I cut it out, I'm going to make sure I get some braces up high here to hold this square. Right now it's pretty much in the position where it needs to be, but I'm going to have to put some temporary braces in it to keep it there. Trying to decide how I'm going to make this thing. That's going to be another video though. So anywho, I'm going to go ahead and close this up for now. This is just kind of a quickie, what I'm up to, and not really a game plan video. I do really like that whole pusher and holder setup that I came up with. I was really pleased with myself. There's probably some simpler ways to do it, but you know how it is, on the fly you kind of run with it. So anyway, thanks for checking it out and stopping by. More to follow. Catch you later.